Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Margaret Howell. It's Friday, December 2nd, 2016. Here's what's coming up tonight.
Tonight, it's the Donald Trump Victory Tour. President-elect Donald Trump is now touring multiple states that helped him win the election. And his first stop was Cincinnati, Ohio, where he outlined his America First policy.
I'm going to discuss our action plan to make America great again. We're going to discuss.
Then, the recount effort to steal electoral votes from President-elect Donald Trump intensifies. Prepare to spark a constitutional crisis and nationwide civil unrest.
And we won it big. But then the people back there, the extremely dishonest president, said, right?
All that plus much more up next on the InfoWars Nightly News.
Things are going to be much better now.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.
Well, Donald Trump is on his victory tour saying thank you to the United States that elected him as president, the 45th president of the United States. He made a stop in Cincinnati, Ohio. InfoWars was, of course, on the ground to cover that. Owen Schwer and Michael Zimmerman. And guess what, folks? He had a word for the globalist. You know, his credo was Americanism, not globalism. We have an article. It's up on our website. It aggregated from Real Clear Politics. It talks about how Trump said no global flag, no global currency, and no global citizenship. That's what we're talking about. He first said thank you in this rally in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's outlining how to put America first. He goes on to say that now's the time to embrace the one thing that continues to unite all of us, and it's our Americanism. He continued with, we hear a lot of talk about becoming a globalized world. Well, guess what? He's putting a stop to that, putting the globalist on the run. There's no global anthem, no global currency, no certificate of global citizenship. We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag. You know, I couldn't be happier with this. We spent several weeks hammering home how globalism is Hillary Clinton's motto, frankly, and it took her down, and now we have an era of issued in peace. That's what's coming up next. And he goes on to talk about this vow that he's making. It's called a new era of peace. He's vowing that the U.S. is going to stop toppling regimes during the first leg of his presidency of this thank you tour. This is what he's saying. He's saying our goal is stability, not chaos, because we want to rebuild our country in its time. And I love this message because he's not a neocon president, folks. You know, Republican or Democrat, what's the difference these days? They all want these wars for profit, you know, invading countries and destabilizing them. And then we have this refugee mess that's bleeding at the helm. He's saying we're going to put a stop to that. And something else that he said I could not be happier about. He said, look, just because we're not toppling regimes anymore doesn't mean we're not going to be fighting ISIS, but we're going to be joining in with countries that are fighting ISIS. I'm directly quoting him now. Our goal is stability, not chaos, because we want to rebuild our country. It's time. He vowed then to rebuild the country's depleted military military. And then he went on to repeat many of his campaign vows, one of which included fighting ISIS. And we know that Russia is cluster bombing in Syria right now, trying to get rid of ISIS, the ISIS that our State Department actually helped create, by the way, with our erratic and rogue policies, because we want to destabilize these governments. God only knows why, frankly. It's a sick agenda, and it would have very much continued under Hillary Clinton. But thanks to Donald Trump, it looks like we're going to focus on American values, American interest, and we're not going to be engaging in these foreign wars where we're bogging down our resources and then accepting a mass refugee population that we destabilized in the first place. That was on the agenda in his thank you tour. Now, I want to take you to another article. It's also up on our website. It's talking about WikiLeaks, because we know what Angela Merkel is doing to the European Union. We know what she's doing to Europe and to her own people, frankly. And there's a bombshell that's come out, and it's talking about how WikiLeaks is going to destroy, it could in fact destroy Merkel's plan for EU domination. This is a warning coming out of Julian Assange. There's been some questions about his whereabouts lately after the Thanksgiving holiday. There was some concern that he may even be dead, but it looks like, in fact, that we have a confirmation that WikiLeaks has new information, and it's regarding Angela Merkel, and it could stop her in her intent to absolutely destroy and destabilize Germany. This is good news. You know, we put a stop to this here in America. We said no thank you to these rogue globalist policies, but it looks like she's been able to run amok in her own country and destroy Western Europe with these runaway policies where Germany is no longer recognizable to some of us looking at it. But it looks like this trove of WikiLeaks documents revealing the true scale of the cooperation between the German and U.S. spy agencies. It's at a risk to Angela Merkel herself. It might derail her hopes of dominating the EU. Now, he goes on to talk about in this article, when you get a second, take a look at it because it's up on our website, the BND, Foreign Intelligence Agency of Germany, and its counterpart, the NSA, WikiLeaks was able to gather a lot of information from these agencies, and it looks like we are bracing ourselves for a major reveal. You know, he promised a bombshell regarding Clinton on Christmas Day, and frankly, it might be one of the best Christmas gifts that we've gotten here, because Trump has said that he's not going to prosecute her. That doesn't mean that his administration won't. It doesn't mean that Jeff Sessions won't as head of the DOJ. It just means for now he's focused on the country and healing the country. But you know what? With new information, you never know. So we have that to look forward to. Now, shifting gears for a moment, I want to take you to the mainstream media. You know, there's been a war lately in this country between the mainstream media. They're calling us fake news. Other organizations and other outlets like Breitbart Media, Drudge, of course, InfoWars, we're actually spouting the truth and telling people the truth. They just can't handle it. There's an article written by Paul Joseph Watson, and he talked, don't you just love Paul, by the way, his snarky intellect? I always find it a joy to read something that he's written or listen to his videos. Check this out. So he's talking about this Yahoo News columnist, and he wants U.S. schools to indoctrinate kids to, quote, trust mainstream media. This is what it's come down to. I'm talking about Matt Bay, and he talks about how social media giants like Facebook, they've censored, quote, fake news, which is actual real news, but that doesn't go far enough. He doesn't think that that's enough in getting the truth squashed. He wants schools to start something called a media literacy campaign to hold these classes that would instruct impressionable students on how to not trust sources of information. And what a radical form of thought. You know, somebody should tell him that this isn't North Korea, and hey, guess what? You don't have the hold on truth and journalism. They're so desperate that they've resorted to indoctrinating school children. That's the new push. Guess what? Adults just aren't. Or you got to go after those impressionable little youth while their minds are still developing, so that they trust all the garbage that you're putting out, which is ridiculous. What a radical solution to the crisis that's unfolding with them. Now, we know that Trump media on head on, and he won, by the way, and he's taking on a lot of other issues now that he's become president-elect, and one of them is how we treat our veterans in this country. Joe Biggs, he brought this report to you yesterday, and it's of this VA clinic and how it's most likely infected 600 veterans with HIV and hepatitis. Now, we know that the Veterans Affairs Administration, it is completely defunct in this country. We see veterans waiting months for care. Sometimes they're so frustrated they commit suicide right outside a VA hospital because they just can't take it anymore. We've covered here the one VA hospital in Atlanta. They actually had to install this multi-foot fence on the top of their parking lot on the roof so veterans wouldn't jump over. This case, if you don't find it disgusting, I don't know what could disgust. When I read it, it made me physically sick. This Toma VA, it's being investigated. This case was regarding a dentist, and apparently they didn't sterilize the equipment properly, and it looks like they've infected as many as 600 of our nation's veterans. You know, our precious veterans, all they've done is fight for this country and sometimes engage in wars based on lies, but they did it with a pure heart and clean hands. They come back, they deserve care, and oh, guess what? We have these shoddy clinics that are infected with HIV and hepatitis. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas. Wow, that's reminiscent of a case of colonoscopies coming out of Tennessee 2 years ago, where they were also infecting veterans with hepatitis and HIV because of unsterilized colonoscopy equipment. It looks like, you know, our only hope is to get this VA system cleaned up in time so that cases like this, so that we can stop reporting on them, because frankly, they are just outrageous. And we know that Trump is going to tackle this because he promised to, and he brought to light a lot of the issues that veterans are facing. And sometimes we've seen people on the ground, and Owen Schwer does a great job of interviewing these people. We have this up on our website about how Trump is bringing people together, and he was on the ground in Cincinnati. Take a look at this video clip.
Owen Schroyer from Infowars.com. I'm here with Adam and Noah. They just got out of the Donald Trump rally. Tell me, what was your experience like?
I'll tell you what, this is my first rally. I've never had any interest in politics growing up. I'm 27 years old myself. I just, realistically, I didn't feel like I understood enough or had a grasp of the reality that it's the whole world that affects our policies rather than, you know, just simple issues. But this rally or this election, I personally took an interest. Infowars, I use their products every day now, man. That brain force is off the chain good. And I learned politics. I delved into it, and there's no one else to go for but Donald Trump. And this, realistically, this is just a wonderful experience for me, just to really feel a part of the movement of, you know, bringing back nationalism, Americanism, and I think that's realistically that's what's going to make this country the great power and the entity that the rest of the world looked up to for so long. We're such a young country, and look at the things we've achieved.
Now, what about you, young man? This is a Trump rally you just went to. Was this your first Trump rally?
This is my second Trump rally, but I got caught on the outside of the last one in Westchester. I had to listen from a pretty long ways away.
So tell me about your experience in there.
It was really kind of unbelievable. I wasn't ready for all the power that was inside of it. The last one being on the outside, you kind of just hear more of the protesters than the people that actually get inside. But once you get inside, you see all the other people that believe in what he's saying and believe that there is hope for America still, and that we can make it the best it can be and bring it back to the best days it was.
Now, we know that Trump is bringing people together, but if you can believe this, the Electoral College, because of this bogus change.org petition, they're on an election that was already decided on November the 8th. Now, we have this article up also by Paul Joseph Watson, and it talks about how the Democrats are trying to stall this recount in Wisconsin to steal the electoral votes from Donald Trump. They want to use politics to undermine the will of the voter, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I just want to take you to this one piece of this article. It talks about how Jill Stein, who actually spoke to Infowars and talked about how Hillary Clinton would start World War III, apparently something has happened to Jill Stein's brain in the course of the time she talked to us at Infowars. And now, because she clearly wants to give Hillary Clinton the election because Hillary Clinton couldn't do it legally, so now they want to try this bogus crap to do it illegally. Now, going back to this article for a moment, all the votes in Wisconsin have to be certified by December 13 before electors meet on December 19 to formally cast their votes. And this article talks about how Democrats in certain counties, they're trying to stall like in Dane County, Wisconsin, for example, because it's very liberal and Madison is located there. And they think that if they can stall the votes in this 6-day period, that the electoral won't be able to meet. And then those electoral votes that originally went to Trump, they won't be going to Trump any longer. So dirty tactics, it's not going to stop Trump from becoming president. They're just trying to mar him and muddy him up before he ever gets there, because we know that, they just can't accept the election results, despite saying that we're all crazy if we don't accept the election results. But if they do it, they're practicing their democracy. I don't know what they're thinking over there, but it's not going to work anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And it's a gigantic waste of our time to even be talking about it, other than the fact that it's so ludicrous. And speaking of other things that are ludicrous, we found this article for you. It's on the Daily Caller. We have it up on our website as well. I want to take you to the San Bernardino terrorist, Saeed Farouk, and his wife. It turns out that they didn't want to go to their Christmas party, which his wife expressed on Facebook, on her social media page, that she felt that she didn't want to participate in a non-Muslim holiday event. Hence, they decided to kill 14 co-workers in their Christmas party because they didn't want to attend the office Christmas party that was mandatory. Now, gunning down 14 of their co-workers, circle the city for 4 hours, and of course they're spotted by local law enforcement that shot them both dead after engaging police in a gun battle. So the tolerant religion of peace that they espouse to, apparently they were pushed to violence and murdering 14 people over a Christmas party because, we have the right to say no to those things, and if you don't agree, then we're going to just shoot all of you until you die. So that's what's going on over here. Now, talking about the migrant issue, continuing on, this article, Leanne McAdoo actually wanted to talk to you about this evening. It's written by Chris Tomlinson. It talks about how migrants in Germany, they're insulating themselves from integrating into society. They're becoming more insular and rejecting Western society and Western values in mass numbers. This is according to a new study, and it's citing poverty, which is hilarious because poverty is not a reason to become insular and reject Western society. We know that this is an underlying agenda. The non-assimilation is a common practice, and just because people are poor, I don't even get that study, frankly, because we know that the reason of poverty, Germany has overwhelming social programs, and that just seems like to me. But anyway, we've heard a lot of excuses here in the States as well. Taking you to that Ohio State shooting, and the suspect was shot and killed. He butchered 9 people after ramming them with his car. And OSU students, if you can believe that, blaming racist America for this terror attack. We have an article up on our website. It aggregated from Rebel Media. Take a look at this reporter as she asked the students why they think this happened.
You feel safe on campus after the attack this week?
Yep.
You do? Would you call it a terrorist attack?
Depends on what your definition of terrorism is.
According to your definition.
No.
Would you call what happened terrorism?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
I would say it was a misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding? Why would you say that?
Because I think that person probably experienced a lot of racism, and racism is a traumatic experience.
It's good to know OSU students are getting their money's worth, being taught how to think for themselves over there. That's really comforting, hearing their responses as to that terrorist attack. Be sure and stay tuned for more special reports like this.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond being prepared. Our bodies absolutely must have the good halogen iodine or we will die. and you look at all of the thyroid problems and all the people that don't have energy and that have all sorts of hormone problems, and from my research and a lot of just mainline research, it leads back to iodine over and over and over again. It's as important as vitamin C. If you don't get iodine, you die. But most people are just deficient, so they're low energy, they're sick. You got to have iodine in your body so that your body can produce the hormones you need. It is the base to so many things. And since I got into iodine 4 years ago, we've helped change the entire paradigm by developing and bringing to the public deep earth crystals from 7 to 12,000 feet of the purest iodine available. Other iodine comes from the ocean or from other byproducts of chemical facilities, and it's tainted. It's bound. It's not absorbable. I tried it. And I had incredible effects even with dirty iodine because the body needs it. When you don't have iodine, it absorbs the chlorine, the fluoride, and all these other bad halogens. It's such a game changer if you'll just research iodine for yourself. It's a fact that the federal government in the Midwest back in the 20s mandated a grungier form of iodine to the salt because people had low IQs, they had huge goiters, major problems directly connected to it. There are some studies that show a 15-point increase. Others show even higher. But it really is crazy to realize that this is something that is so deficient in our food chain, so deficient in our played-out fields where different crops are being grown, but the federal government isn't educating people and telling them about it. That's why for a limited time, I want to encourage everyone to go to InfoWarsLife.com and get 20% off on the best nascent iodine out there from our research, truly pure Survival Shield X2. Again, that's Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Thank you for joining us in this brief news update. Do yourself and your family a favor and check out the importance of iodine for yourself. I think you're going to be blown away. And whatever you do, support the broadcast and get a bottle of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Also consult your physician because if you've been deficient in it or have other issues, it can have some dramatic effects. As for me and most folks I talk to, it's been a game changer in the positive column, but still consult your physician because iodine is no joke. It's a key building block of the body. And if you haven't had it for a long time and suddenly have it, some folks say they've experienced things like a detoxing effect and things like that. You've got to have vitamin C. You've got to have iodine to live. You got to have water to live. Iodine is key. You must have it, but consult your physician first before you get powerful Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2 at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll free. We can answer your questions, 888-253-3139. There is an information warfare happening right now. It's a fight for our minds. And InfoWars.com is on the front lines. Download our free multimedia app at InfoWars.com/app. It's free. It's on Droid. It's on Apple. You name it. InfoWars.com/app. Take action.
Joe Biggs here with InfoWars.com. Now, Hawaii has a brand new bill that's about to be passed, SB 2954, which requires background checks from the FBI, gun registration, all kinds of horrible things. We're going to get into that with my guest, Kevin, here in just a moment. Now, we've heard about strict gun laws all across the country in many different states, and it seems to be the areas where there usually is the most amounts of crime. And now Hawaii has a bill that has been introduced. It is now passed. It's Senate Bill 2954. And what this is a pretty creepy law that could be that is going to be put into effect on December 5th. So I have Kevin Kakatan from Hawaii who's joining us right now, and he's going to tell us what he knows about this and how it can affect the people of Hawaii.
Hi, Joe. Thank you for having me and taking the time out to pay attention to this matter that's kind of gone under the radar. I know that California recently has had, their Gunmageddon, and I believe it was several propositions that went through. On one hand, it's nothing as bad as that. However, the danger here is that what they're planning on doing, or what is going to take effect come Monday, December 5th, is that anyone registering a new firearm that day will have to essentially pay $42 to enter themselves into what they call the wrap-back system. And allegedly the wrap-back system is the same system utilized by, I believe, the FBI for people in positions of trust as they as they describe it, it's educators, people that work for the government, perhaps. But from what I understand, it was never meant to monitor legal firearm owners, but that's what they're planning on doing.
So I'm going to read you exactly from the FBI what it means. The Rat Back service allows authorized agencies to receive notification at activity on individuals who hold positions of trust, i.e. school teachers, daycare workers, or who are under criminal justice supervision or investigation, thus eliminating the need for repeated background checks on a person from the same applicant agency. Prior to the deployment of Rat Back, the National Criminal History Background Check System provided a one-time snapshot view of an individual's criminal history status. With Rat Back, authorized agencies can receive ongoing status notifications of any criminal history reported to the FBI after the initial processing and retention of criminal or civil transactions. By using fingerprint identification to identify persons arrested and prosecuted for crimes, Rat Back provides a nationwide notice to both criminal justice and non-criminal justice authorities regarding subsequent actions. I mean, that doesn't sound good to me. Does it to you, Kevin?
No, actually, it's just essentially a way for them to, in a subtle way, essentially almost criminalize law-abiding gun owners in the state of Hawaii. There are no other groups of people or most professions that aren't, monitored without having anything really been done. And there's a lot of questions as to what could disqualify a firearm owner if they are, under some kind of arrest or, get involved in some kind of incident outside the state of Hawaii that triggers this Rat Back alert. Obviously, felony arrests, domestic dispute cases and all that. But, I mean, are they going to be adding any other sort of violations to this that could disqualify someone from owning a firearm? They have not been very transparent as to what Rat Back is going to involve. They haven't really made much public. In fact, most people don't even know it's going to go into effect come Monday, December 5th.
Yeah, exactly. I actually called the Honolulu Police Department and spoke with 5 different officers, and I asked them, what they knew about SB 2954, what it details, is there gun confiscation involved, and none of them even heard of the law at all whatsoever. So you have people who are supposed to know the law and enforce the law and hold people to that standard, and they don't even know anything about it yet. And it's just 3 days away from rolling out. That's still kind of that's still sketchy, that this is going to be a new law, and these guys who are supposed to uphold it and know about it have no clue about it yet whatsoever.
Right, and one of the state senators that had actually introduced the bill or helped write it, there was I didn't attend the meeting, unfortunately, but there was a meeting back in the summer of 2016 that was kind of held informally at the state capitol, and people in attendance, were asking the state senator by the name of Willis Sparrow, what was exactly, involved with his decision to write this bill and all that. And essentially, again, not my words, but what other people have claimed, his response was that essentially he didn't really read the bill. He didn't really read the bill at all. And some of our astute gun owners, people that are way more educated than I, attempted to educate him on what it involved. And some of the other anti-gun folks that were there were also allegedly, from what I hear, were somewhat surprised as to what it would involve. So it just really seems like a very shaky process. Like they're almost like as if they were making it up as they went along with it. And to me, in my opinion, it just seems like around that time there was that filibuster happening in D.C. and and it seemed like they couldn't vote on further gun control. So it just seemed like our governor took it upon himself to say, hey, well, while the Democrats in D.C. couldn't get anything done, let's just show that we could do something here. And it just seems like that's where this entire thing came about, because despite all of the letters and resistance to this bill from Hawaii gun owners, they just signed it anyway.
Yeah, so it looks like it was introduced on January 27th, and the report title says SB 2954, Criminal History Record Checks, Police, Permits to Acquire Firearms, Hawaii Criminal Justice Data Center, Database Management. Description is authorizes county police departments to enroll firearms applicants and individuals who are registering their firearms into a criminal record monitoring service used to alert police when an owner of a firearm is arrested for a criminal offense anywhere in the country. It authorizes the Hawaii Criminal Justice Data Center to access firearm registration data. You know, and this is the interesting thing about it. Now, if this becomes successful and the people in Washington see this and they get some ideas down the road, this could be something that they would try and pass countrywide, or nationwide, I should say. And that's the interesting thing. We have a lot of people like Harry Reid that I'm sure would just jump right on this and be all about it.
Right. It is a dangerous thing of setting a precedence. And, you know, honestly, even if it's successful or not, or, you know, how smoothly it goes, I have no doubt that other states will try to pass the same thing coming up this, you know, whatever their respective legislation periods are. I mean, we've already seen things happening out of California that other states have tried to adopt. You know, luckily in Hawaii, again, luckily for now, we've been somewhat bulletproof from some of the atrocious gun laws in California, like, you know, things restricting their semi-automatic rifles and things like that. Again, in Hawaii, we still haven't been affected by that, but things like this rap bill that doesn't directly on the surface seem to affect firearms like magazine capacities and things like that. I can see how these things can go under the radar in some states because it may seem benign on the surface, but it really isn't. Essentially, we're looking at putting a group of people that have not been convicted of anything onto essentially a federal watch list. And we've seen how watch lists or lists in general have been compromised. I mean, not too long ago, there was that incident in New York where I think it got leaked out that all the names and addresses, or at least the names of registered gun owners in New York, were leaked to the public. I mean, who's to say that our names on this federal rap back, monitored by, I'm not sure if it's monitored by the Honolulu Police Department or the FBI, who's to say that list won't be compromised and all of our information doesn't get out as well? So it's really a dangerous precedence for the entire country.
Indeed it is. Well, you know, it's scary when you actually have this. It gets passed, but it's so vague, too. I'm sitting here looking at the bill, and it doesn't really tell you what happens if you are found to be guilty of breaking this law, so to say. You know, are they going to come to your home? Is there going to be gun confiscation? Are they going to ban you after that from ever owning firearms or purchasing them again? I mean, you know, what's the process of getting put on it? And then what's the process of being removed from something like this? I mean, if you were to be arrested and then found innocent later on down the road, you know, so those are the questions we're going to have to ask from here on out.
Really, I mean, I think as most people have described it here, I mean, it really begins with the gun owners of Hawaii really standing up and really supporting the Hawaii Rifle Association, our own local gun advocacy group.
All right, well, this is all extremely interesting stuff. Hopefully people will call out to people in Hawaii and have them stop this if they can. But this is all the time we have. Thanks for being on here with us, Kevin. This has been Joe Biggs with Infowars.com.
Thank you, Joe.
This is the answer for your children to totally absorb the multivitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, everything at once. Unveil Vitamin Mineral Fusion Advanced Multivitamin Formula, 30 servings, fruit punch flavored dietary supplement. It is simply amazing. InfoWarsLife.com.
There's a million different products like this out there that they're good in different ways. But this takes all of the vitamins, all of the essential amino acids, all of the essential compounds and minerals that you need, puts it into something that's great tasting as opposed to like clumpy, gross stuff. And you can put it in your drink every morning. I put it in my protein shake. It is the platinum standard, in my view, of multivitamins in terms of an advanced multi-drink vitamin.
The cleanest, the purest, new stuff had to be invented. That's why it took this long to even bring us something this good.
Some companies are going to take a small amount of vitamins and make it, so there's so much filler, it looks like there's a lot. This is ultra concentrated. We're not playing games here. Okay,
well, that's my philosophy. That's your philosophy.
Yeah,
I want it, but again, there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah,
and there's other,
No, of course, definitely.
There's other powders I promote at InfoWarsHealth.com. Yeah, they're excellent. I mean, there's some good stuff out there. This is just the very best we can bring you, and when you buy it, you support InfoWars, you support the reporters, you support yourself. Tell folks about some of these other things that are in this and why this is just this total complete package for your body, because again, we didn't put the synthetic amino acids, we didn't put the synthetic vitamins, we put the plant-based, high quality, clean, natural ingredients into this.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got your standard vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin E, the list goes on.
A huge amount of vitamin C, by the way. Tell folks about that.
1,000+% of your daily value, which is what you need. Because the, FDA guidelines, we all know about those. Zinc, magnesium, selenium, L-glutamine, each one of these you could go on for about 10 minutes about the benefits of these things. Alpha-lipoic acid, folic acid, calcium, and the list goes on. 34 other ones you can check out. Go to InfoWarsLife.com, the label's up there. You've got the entire ingredients list that you can neurotically examine for yourself. And just... By
the way, look on the other side, too, because we're showing people the... minerals and things. Let's look at the vitamins right there, all it's got in there. I mean, it's amazing.
Top left.
Again, if you're radio listeners, Infowars.com/show. Vitamin A has 4,333% from beta-carotene and what's that other source? I just know that's all the best sources.
Retinol. So you've also got your vitamin D at 1,000 IU, which is a large dose, actually. And you know what? Some people could say, well, isn't this competing with your other products? Well, yeah, you know what? We could be like some people and just take all the stuff that we sell also at InfoWarsLife.com and not put any of it, but then it wouldn't be a balanced formula, and we're not going to do that. And it might actually hurt us in the long run to put all the best stuff in here, but that's just the way we got to do it, because we can't start thinking like that.
So get them today, InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. My name is Alex Jones. Most of you know me from my syndicated radio program and my documentary films, as well as InfoWars Nightly News. When I got on air 20 years ago, I had discovered the globalist program, their plan to take over the world, and my focus went from running 6 miles every other day, swimming 2-3 miles a couple times a week, and lifting weights, to focusing on fighting the globalists. I've gone from 279 pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Super Male has the key concentrated natural compounds that my body needed to go to the next level. Today is the day to take the InfoWarsLife.com challenge and to secure your bottle of Super Male or Super Female Vitality. Check them out today at InfoWarsLife.com or give our crew a call at 888-253-3139.
After roughly 6 years, the United Nations has finally apologized for bringing the ongoing cholera outbreak to Haiti following the 2010 7.0 earthquake that struck southwest of Port-au-Prince and devastated the already suffering island nation.
Well, we have claimed for a long time that we must combine a rather strict legal position on immunity for the United Nations, because we have many consequences of peacekeeping actions that could be affected.
The UN continues to deny that their Nepalese contingent unleashed the cholera outbreak, even arguing that the cause was unimportant. The spreading cholera outbreak has killed at least 9,300 Haitians and infected 800,000 more, and is currently spreading like a pandemic to the Dominican Republic and Cuba. This was the first time in Haitian history that cholera had reached Haiti, according to professors at Duke University. Clearly, either the occultist elitist New World Order is incompetent or negligent, or just a cog in the vampiric wheel preying on the Haitian people with an ulterior motive.
And Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez has once again accused the United States of playing God. But this time it's Haiti's disastrous earthquake that he thinks the U.S. was behind. Spanish newspaper ABC quotes Chavez as saying that the U.S. Navy launched a weapon capable of inducing a powerful earthquake off the shore of Haiti. He adds that this time it was only a drill, and the final target is destroying and taking over Iran.
The financial response to the 2010 Haitian earthquake was massive. The Red Cross raised $500 million, and the United Nations had claimed to set aside $13.4 billion, including billions in donations from the United States. However, the permanent homes promised by the Red Cross didn't materialize, and the Red Cross wasn't transparent on what they actually spent all of that money on. The cash cow was far too tempting to the hovering vultures of the Clinton Foundation. Even Chelsea Clinton was critical of the response of her own parents, writing, "If we do not quickly change the organization, management, accountability, and delivery paradigm on the ground, we could quite conceivably confront tens of thousands of children's deaths by diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, and other water-related diseases in the near future." Beyond the neglect, something nefarious was occurring. Haitian children were disappearing. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported United Nations officials say children have gone missing from hospitals in Haiti since the devastating January 12th earthquake, raising fears of trafficking. "We have documented around 15 cases of children disappearing from hospitals and not with their own family at the time," said UNICEF advisor Jean-Luc Legrand. Trafficking networks were springing into action immediately after the disaster and taking advantage of the weakness of local authorities and relief coordination to kidnap children and get them out of the country, reported the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. One such person arrested for trafficking was New Life Child's refuge owner Laura Silsby, who, according to WikiLeaks documents, Hillary Clinton had been very interested in 9 years before the 2010 Haitian earthquake, and it was Bill Clinton that used his former presidential weight to have Silsby essentially freed. Oddly enough, on November 14th, the Laboratory to Combat Human Trafficking reported that Monica Peterson, investigating the Clintons' involvement in Haiti for the Human Trafficking Center, mysteriously died the day before. Peterson had been highly critical of the Clinton Foundation, writing on her blog, "Hillary Clinton should get far more scrutiny for her scandalous conduct in Haiti. From rigging the March 2011 presidential election for her favored candidate Michael Sweet Mickey Martelli, supporter of the CIA-created death squad, to ensuring that her brother Tony Rodham and a company that barely exists got a sweetheart gold mine concession in Haiti that royally cheated the state of Haiti." In a letter to her friend, Peterson had uncovered 2 huge trafficking scandals and a social displacement scandal with billions in unaccounted earthquake aid leading directly back to the Clintons. She had just begun investigating the correlation regarding the Clinton Foundation's Caracol Industrial Park complex and its connection to a human trafficking network when her life was mysteriously cut short. Something doesn't add up. John Bound for Infowars.com.
I'm going to discuss our action plan to make America great again. We're going to discuss. Although we did have a lot of fun fighting Hillary, didn't we? Right? Remember when they said he cannot win North Carolina? So we had just won Ohio, Iowa, and we had just won Florida. Breaking news, Donald Trump has won Florida. They say, whoa. And we won it big. But then the people back there, the extremely dishonest press, said, right? Very dishonest people. How dishonest. How about when a major anchor who hosted a debate started crying when she realized that we won? How about tears? No, tell me this isn't true. And you know what she doesn't understand? Things are going to be much better now. She doesn't understand. Remember, you cannot get to 270, the dishonest press. There is no road. Folks, how many times did we hear this? There is no path to 270. There is no. There is no path. I'll tell you what, just 2-3 weeks before the election. And my friends would tell me just the opposite. They live in Texas and Georgia. They said, Georgia is in play. Texas